What is going on, guys? Today I bring you round 3 of Festival do Galitos, and in this round I finally got paired up against a high rated opponent. Got paired up against Samuel Gonçalves, a 2010 rated player, so very strong. And I had the black pieces, didn't really prepare at all for him. I saw briefly what he played, and he played pretty much everything under the sun with the white pieces. So I was like, okay, whatever. Let's see. So we started the game with d4. I went e6, a bit of a troll move. Pretty much saying that if he plays e4, I'm comfortable with it. But okay, he plays c4, which is more standard when you start with d4 to follow it up with c4. I went to knight f6, inviting some Nimzo Indians. He went g3, so yeah, he pretty much went for this Catalan opening, and right here I was very like making this face for myself, like, really, I wasn't really making faces like that. I don't usually make faces during games like that, but inside I was like, oh really, I can't believe you picked the Catalan, bro. And this reaction is because I actually never played against the Catalan in an over the board game, but online I struggle a lot to play against the Catalan. I've tried to learn some theory, but because I rarely or never faced it in over the board, I really didn't really actually study it at all. And even though I looked at some theory from time to time, I never really never memorized ideas, never really understood the positions correctly. So yeah, I always struggle against the Catalan online, and yeah, I was a little bit uh, bothered by him choosing this opening. But okay, let's see how I handled it. So d5 here, bishop g2, and here I give a check on b4, so pretty standard. And now I was expecting my opponent to go bishop d2, and I would go bishop e7. And yeah, but my opponent actually played knight bd2, which I had no idea what to do against knight bd2. And I was like, I can't believe I played this way, because honestly, um, going back, I know that I'm taking a lot of time in the opening, but I want to explain that my first idea in this line was to play something like c5 directly, and sort of play this, let's say, took here, I would have taken with a pawn, let's say takes here, takes, and I would play some sort of, I wanted to play some sort of IQP position with the black pieces against the Catalan, because now, like, one of the main problems against the Catalan that I have is to have this bishop kind of locked behind the pawn chain and not being able to develop it. And this, like, okay, I have an IQP, but it's not necessarily bad, and my pieces kind of develop easily, and yeah, it's just a simpler game. But uh, I decided to not go for it because I saw some of my teammates preparing against someone that usually plays the Catalan, and I was paying some attention to it and some ideas. And during the game, instead of going for my original plan going into the tournament, I changed it up. And yeah, I generally don't recommend you changing the plan like that, but I thought it would be a good idea because I saw the plans and etc. and whatever. So here knight bd2, I took a long think, and I castled. My opponent played knight f3, and here I play bishop e7, which it just doesn't look right. Yeah, I just didn't know what to do, honestly. I feel like, yeah, it's hard, man. I don't know. But I played bishop e7, which, it's normally what you do against bishop d2, but It's not the same here, but okay, I mean, it's not a losing move or whatever, but yeah, bishop e7. Here my pawn castled, and I played knight bd7, queen c2 here by my opponent, and I just played c5. I just want to kind of treat this position like I was playing a regular Queen's Gambit decline. This is normally what I do in the against like a normal Queen's Gambit decline without the fianchetto light square bishop from white. But yeah, thought that this would be a good way to kind of free my position up a little bit. Here my pawn played rook fd1, and I play c takes on d4. This is already going in the wrong direction, because even though it looks logical to kind of, you know, start chopping in the center and releasing the tension, the problem here is that the knight comes to d4, and yeah, the knight is doing pretty well, and it's pretty annoying on d4. Here, honestly, I would be fine if I just played a simple move like b6, which yeah, I totally didn't even consider. Yeah, here probably we would get something like this, and yeah, I don't know about this position. This honestly looks a little bit shaky to me already, but how can you know, white punish me that quickly? Let's say e4 maybe. And here, what do I do? Do I take on e4? Do I play bishop e7? Computer says bishop e7, allowing e5, and playing knight e4. Yeah, I guess. So I guess you can play it this way. Takes on d4. I played b6, which is an horrible move, honestly. Like, I don't know what went through my mind to follow it up with b6 here. Just obviously allows knight c6, which I saw. Yeah, this is already kind of a hard position in my opinion to play. E5 is not really a thing here because of knight f5. This is very uncomfortable. If I play d4, probably my opponent can even just break my center with e3 immediately. And yeah, I don't really have a move that I can suggest to myself here. Again, as I said, I always have this problem of having this light square bishop here stuck behind the pawn chain, and with this bishop on this diagonal, it's really annoying. Okay, I played b6 because I thought that knight c6 wouldn't be such a big deal. I thought that after queen e8, if my opponent decided to take, I thought I would be fine here, honestly. Even something like this, knight takes on d5. If e4 right here, I can go back to f6, or I can go to b4 maybe a little bit better, but yeah, this already requires some calculation for sure. It's not that easy. But yeah, I was already spending a lot of time on the clock, and yeah, I was just clueless and kind of frustrated with my position. Here my opponent played e4, which, yeah, I felt like it was a very strong move because my opponent is just trying to blow up the position because I'm still uncoordinated, and my pieces are still like very passive, and he just wants to open things up. And here I play d takes on c4. Took on c4, my opponent took with the knight here, and I finally played bishop e7, and I thought, okay, everything is good, and I kind of managed to sort of dodge a bullet. But here my opponent actually finds a nice continuation of for him, which was knight takes on e7 check, queen takes, and knight e6. Again, very annoying, attacking my bishop on b7. And yeah, here I just thought that I was completely losing. Yeah, I just was very frustrated with myself. We are on move 15, and I feel like I'm already busted and I can't really do much. I calculate a bunch of stuff, and yeah, I just play another horrible move, which just kind of resigns the game on the spot. I played Rook C8, sacrificing the exchange. And the reason I did this is because I thought that I was gonna lose something, which it's not true. I thought that after Rook A B8 and Queen C7, I thought that I was just gonna lose a piece, because I thought, okay, Knight takes on B7 and Rook takes on B7, Queen takes on B7, and that's it. Can't move this Knight because of the pin. And yeah, I thought that I was just lost here, but I completely missed this kind of simple move, Queen D8. Yeah, this kind of defends everything because my opponent is not in time to take the bishop with either the knight or the queen. He can't really do that because the queens are looking at each other. And here, Engine says that the best move for white would have been to play something like Queen C3 or Queen C2, which, I mean, sure, white still has a huge positional advantage, but at least the material is still somewhat equal. And maybe I can even go back to E7 and ask him, what are you gonna do to improve your position? Because if he goes back to C7, I can just repeat. But yeah, I totally missed this obvious defensive resource, which is just mind-blowing. Just completely mind-blowing. Can't really explain how bad I actually played this game. It's really embarrassing, honestly. So yeah, I sacked the exchange, and honestly, the rest of the game is pretty trash, honestly. Like, my opponent didn't really have to do much to just get the win here. There's not much compensation. My opponent has the exchange, is an exchange up, and he has the bishop pair in a super solid position. So yeah, it's just over pretty much. The engine gives a 1.7 advantage, which I kind of find surprising. I thought it would be more, but yeah, okay. Here I tried to, create some threats, but yeah, there wasn't much I could do, honestly. Maybe I could have not traded the rooks, but what do I do here, right? Yeah, I just don't know what to do. Do I go back to D8, something like that? But yeah, this feels like sooner or later my opponent is going to just crush me. Although here actually this would be a blunder because of knight c5. But yeah, I kind of gave up, honestly. Right here I started trading everything, and yeah, it was just pretty easy conversion by my opponent. And here, yeah, I don't want to trade queens, so I play queen g6, and yeah, my opponent just finds this nice tactic, sacrificing the rook to pretty much win the piece back. And yeah, I just lose. And at the end, like, I just play queen e7 just to troll a little bit. Maybe you wouldn't see the queen hanging, but of course he took and he won the game. And I don't know, like, this is pretty sad, honestly. Like, I really put up zero fight. Like, this was probably one of my worst games, probably my worst game of the year. Like, what was I doing here? So bad. Yeah, this was the video, guys. Pretty short one. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye, guys.